a father, a husband, a man who seemed like the definition of normal. To his neighbors, he was quiet. To his co-workers, dependable. To his family, loving. But behind closed doors, he was hiding something so dark, so twisted, that even seasoned detectives would struggle to believe it. This isn't just a story about a criminal. This is the story of a predator hiding in plain sight, someone who thought he could outsmart everyone around him, including the police. But what he didn't realize was that every step he took, every lie he told, and every false smile he put on was leading him closer to the moment when his mask would finally be ripped away. And when that moment came, when he finally realized the game was over, the look on his face said it all. Shock, fear, and the crushing weight of his double life collapsing in front of him. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most chilling cases of a predator dad who thought he was untouchable until the exact second he realized he had been caught. Every story like this begins the same way, with a man who looked ordinary. Forget the monster label for a moment. Forget the headlines. Let's go back to when he was just Dad. He mowed the lawn on Sundays. He waved to his neighbors as he carried groceries into the house. He went to work, came home, and kissed his kids goodnight. To the outside world, he was the kind of person who blended into the background, someone you'd never take a second look at. At block parties, people would smile and say, "Oh, that's just him. Quiet, keeps to himself, but nice enough." The kind of neighbor you might borrow a ladder from. The kind of father other parents would trust their kids to hang out with. And that's what made him so dangerous. Because predators like him don't announce themselves. They don't wear warning signs. They craft masks, carefully, deliberately, and hide behind them until the moment they slip. Behind closed doors, in the privacy of his basement, this perfect dad had built something no one could have imagined. A secret world of control and darkness, hidden just a few feet below the place his family ate dinner together. And that's the thing about people like him. They rely on trust. They rely on silence. They rely on the fact that no one will ever look too closely. But sooner or later, the cracks start to show. And when they do, the entire illusion shatters. What looked like the perfect life was about to unravel into something unspeakable. It always starts small. A strange glance, a lie that doesn't quite make sense, a locked door that no one is allowed to open. For months, maybe even years, people brushed it off. Neighbors might have wondered why his blinds were always drawn. His co-workers might have questioned why he never talked about anything personal. But nobody pressed too hard. After all, who suspects the quiet dad next door? But behind the walls of his home, those cracks were widening. He was living a double life, and the pressure of maintaining that mask was getting heavier every single day. His wife started noticing it first. His sudden mood swings, the way he would disappear into the basement for hours, the excuses that didn't add up. Work project, he would say, paperwork. But when she asked questions, his tone would shift, sharp, defensive, almost angry that she dared to ask. And then there were the neighbors. One woman recalled seeing strange activity at odd hours, lights flickering in the basement, shadows moving long past midnight. She thought maybe he was working on some kind of hobby, maybe woodworking, maybe electronics. The truth was far darker. The real turning point came when technology caught up with him, because predators like him believe they're smarter than everyone else. They believe they can cover their tracks. But in the digital age, there are no secrets. Every click, every download, every hidden folder leaves a trail. And his trail was about to be uncovered. Detectives had been watching, quietly, patiently, building a case brick by brick. And while he lived his everyday life like nothing was wrong, mowing the lawn, paying the bills, playing with his kids, law enforcement was closing in. What he didn't know was that the walls were already collapsing around him. Predators like him don't just get caught by chance. It takes strategy. It takes patience. It takes a sting operation that leaves no room for escape. The detectives working this case knew they had to get it right the first time. One wrong move, and he could vanish, or worse, destroy the evidence forever. So they set the trap carefully. Weeks of surveillance, hours of monitoring his online activity, every piece of evidence documented, cross-checked, and analyzed until there was no doubt left. He thought he was chatting in private, hiding behind usernames and fake accounts. He thought he was invisible. but in reality, he was talking to undercover officers. The day of the sting was planned with military precision. Officers moved into position quietly, blending into the neighborhood. Unmarked cars parked just far enough away not to raise suspicion. Every angle was covered. Every escape route was blocked. And then came the knock. Not a violent crash, not yet, just a simple knock at the door. He opened it, expecting maybe a neighbor, maybe a delivery. Instead, he was staring at badges. For a split second, he froze, his mind racing. Could he slam the door? Could he grab his phone? Could he run? But before he could even process what was happening, the officers pushed forward. The basement, the place he thought was his fortress, was about to be unlocked, and everything he had worked so hard to hide was about to spill into the light. When officers entered the house, they knew exactly where to go. Straight to the basement, straight to the locked door, straight into the world he had tried to bury. The smell hit first, damp, stale, unnatural. Then the sight, walls lined with equipment, shelves stacked with items that didn't belong in an ordinary family home, hidden cameras, computers humming with data, hard drives, dozens of them, each one packed with evidence of his crimes. It was like stepping into the mind of someone who thought he would never be caught. Organized, labeled, meticulously hidden. But no matter how careful he had overlooked one thing. Technology never forgets. Detectives began pulling files. Thousands of images, thousands of videos, each one a piece of proof, each one another nail in the coffin of his so-called normal life. And here's the chilling part. While police combed through the basement, upstairs sat his family. His wife, pale and shaking. His children, confused and terrified. For them, it was like watching a stranger being unmasked in front of their eyes. The man they loved was gone. In his place stood a predator. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when someone realizes their entire life is over, this was it. At first, he tried to deny it. He stammered, insisting the files weren't his, that someone else must have planted them, that there had been a mistake. But the evidence was overwhelming. Every file traced back to him. Every click logged under his name. Every lie he told, unraveling in real time. Then came the silence. The moment he stopped talking. The moment it hit him that the mask he had worn for so long had been ripped away. The weight of years of deception crashing down in an instant. And in that silence, the truth hung heavy. He wasn't a father. He wasn't a husband. He wasn't the neighbor who lent you tools or waved from the driveway. He was something else entirely. A predator who thought he could outsmart everyone. But in the end, he outsmarted no one but himself. Cases like this remind us of something chilling. Evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes, it looks like a neighbor, a coworker, even a father. Predators like him thrive on invisibility. They hide in plain sight, counting on the fact that no one will look too closely. But in the end, their arrogance is their downfall. They believe they're untouchable until the exact second they realize they're not. For the community, the scars of this case will last for years. Families who trusted him will struggle to process the betrayal. His own children will grow up knowing the man who raised them was living a double life. And the neighbors who waved hello will forever remember the day their quiet street became the center of a nightmare. But for law enforcement, it's a reminder that patience and persistence pay off. No matter how careful someone is, no matter how normal they appear, the truth has a way of surfacing. And in the end, the predator dad next door learned the hard way. You can hide for a while, but you can't hide forever.